Welcome to Cowboy Slots Tech Series. This series is designed for home slot machine ownership and to help slot owners fix common issues with machines that they may encounter. For tips on slot play, Mythbusters, and more, browse our extensive video library, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. You can also use our tech forums for additional help on our website at ropethejackpot.com.
Howdy, welcome back everybody to the Cowboy Slots channel. My name is Mark, and hey, new series we're just launching. This is the first episode of this new series. It is a tech series. So for all you guys out there that have machines at home, or maybe you're a slot technician, used to be a slot technician, or maybe you're just a little bit curious about how all this stuff works and what it looks on the inside, that's what this new series is all about. And today we're going to start with one of the most popular requested items that we get, and that is, how do I change my slot machine at home from single denomination to multi-denomination? Now, the newer machines like the S2000, the G23, 2 minutes, you're done. Unfortunately, on the S2000s and the Bally's, the older machines, it's a little bit more involved and you need a lot of parts. So we thought it would be a good video to put together because it takes about 30 minutes from start to finish to do it. I would say it's about medium in difficulty. So you're going to be lifting chips, you're going to be doing some programming, that type of thing. And so you need to feel comfortable with getting your hands dirty on this one, because it is going to be a requirement to get this change from single to multi. Anyway, guys, we're going to show you all the tools that you need in order to get this done, as well as walk you through step by step. So without further ado, let's get started on converting this machine to multi-denomination. All right, guys, so the first thing to tackle is, what are the tools that you're going to need for this job? So I'm going to pick them up here and show them, and I was running on the top bottom of the screen here also. So the first thing is a Phillips head screwdriver. Try to get one about medium to small size, because you're going to need to loosen some screws. Also get a chip puller. This is the one I use. It's about $6 or $7 on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. Just look for EEPROM chip puller on Amazon, and you can find those. If you don't have one of these, if you have a flathead screwdriver that's very long and skinny, that will work too, because you're going to need to pull some chips off the board, and we want to do it safely so that we don't bend any pins, which will ruin your chips. The next thing that you need to get is a light box. Now, your machine may already have one of these on here. It's a mini LED light box like this. This is what it looks like on the back, on the front, and I will put the part number down below so you can see which one it is. You can find these on eBay as well. Like I said, most of them already have light boxes like this in there, and not the old style. So if you have this and you have the cables, you're in good shape. Next thing you're going to need is the actual touchpad itself. So this is the what actually allows you to press each one of the denominations on here and have it switch to it. So you're going to need one of these. This is what it looks like. Again, I'll put the part number on the bottom. And next, you're going to need the denomination sticker like this. You can find these on eBay. It's going to be difficult to find the exact one that you want, but just bear with it and you will eventually find something that's close. I do have a bunch of these, so if you are looking for a specific one, feel free to leave a comment down below in this video and I will take a look and see if I have it. But it's first come, first serve, because these are kind of hard to find nowadays. So you're going to need one of these, and what this does is this overlays on top of that touch panel like this. Okay? And it registers your fingers underneath it. Alright, so the next thing you're going to need is a version chip, and we're going to see this when we pull the board out of this machine. So this is a GX1. There is 2 different versions. If you are currently on single denomination, you have a GX0 inside of your machine. That's the last 3 digits on the actual chip number here. So this is a GX1 chip. You're going to need this in order to enable multi-denomination. And finally, you're going to need a clear and key chip. So I have a key 45 here, as well as an IVC 224. Those are the ones that I use. They work for pretty much any S2000 except for the ones that are like the R boards, but that's another story. But for most of you guys, these are the 2 key, the key and clear chips that you're going to need. All right, so that is all the parts that you're going to need to do this conversion. So let's go ahead and get started with step number 1. All right, guys, so the first step is power off the machine. Never do any work like this with the machine powered on. Now, you can keep it plugged in, but just make sure the main power is on. So open the door, and you're looking for the power switch. And we're doing an S2000, of course, so that means they are always right here. So throw the power, and a good way to check that the power switch was done is if you spin the reels here and there's no give whatsoever. That means that the power is done. That's how I usually check. So the first step is we are going to tackle the door here to install the multi multi-denomination touchpad. So I need to remove 3 screws here. So there's one right here, there's one right here, and then there's one over here, and this will take this part off. And this is actually a fairly easy project. I would say it would probably take most people about 20 to 30 minutes to accomplish. And I would say it's about medium when it comes to complexity, because you are going to have to pull some chips off the board and do some work on some configuration options and such. Okay, so I've got those 3. Make sure that you keep your screws organized. Most of the machine takes all the same screws, but just remember what you're taking off. All right, so what we're going to do here is just let this sit here for a little bit. Now, I already have a light box in here, as you can see. All right, so I'm going to actually reuse this one, but I need to put the touchpad over it. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I'm going to take this $100 denomination sticker that I currently have on the machine out of there. And then I'm going to pull this light box out, and the way to do that is, see right here, this ribbon cable. Just gently pull it until it pulls out like that. And then the light box will come out like that. Okay? Okay. The next thing you need to do is, if it's not already attached, there's this little ribbon cable that comes with the touch panel here. And so you need to plug that in. There's going to be only one way for it to go in. So if you feel like it's not going in, just switch it around. Okay, there we go. Okay, so make sure that is in there like that. Now this other piece, the other tail end of this, is going to go in this light box and out this hole back here. You see down there? So with this facing down, run it through that hole, and I'll show you in a second what it looks like after I do it. All right. So you see, this is that tail from that other end. It's coming through this bottom hole here. So this plugs into this right here. And again, only one way for it to come in. So if you feel resistance, don't push it, don't push it hard to get it in there. All right, so that's done. So we can push this, well, we can put it back in, but now I need to put my sticker on the front. So I have a 2.25 center, a 50 cent, and $1. Now make sure you get this alignment correctly. So it's face up with this is on the bottom. So I want to make sure that this is also face up when I put it on there. So it's just got some stickiness to it. If the one that you get doesn't have any stickiness, you can tape it on the sides, like around here, to keep it in place. Okay. Just gonna make sure this is aligned right, because I have OCD, guys. I want to make sure it's like on there perfectly, or else I'll be staring at it and want to change it. All right, that looks good. All right, so we got that on the front. We're going to put it back in here. Okay, and then we're going to set it back in front of the machine. And get this door back on. I need to move it real quick. There. I just had to make sure it was behind that wiring harness over there on the right. Okay. So see how that's in there right there? I'm going to check the front. And it's an offline. It's a little bit misaligned, so I'm just going to move it till it's looking good, and I'll turn the camera around here for you guys to see it. Okay, I got to go a little bit further. Okay. I think that right there should do it. got some wires jumbled up under here. That's what's giving it some I'm going to try this another way. I'm going to just try to stick this on here where it should be. There. And that has some sticky on the front there, so that should be a little bit easier. And then now I can just do this. And just play with it a little bit until you get it in there. All right, sorry for that jump cut there, guys. I had to get a flashlight because I couldn't see what I was doing. So I got it in there. You just need to finagle it a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the screws back in those 3 spots. And it's actually pretty important to get these screws in there as tight as possible. And the reason why is because of avoiding any possible reel tilts from the reels hitting this top part here. So if you have this too loose, those reels will just start hitting that, and then you'll get a bunch of reel tilts. And that may be something that we end up getting, and we'll just have to fix it. But if you get this screwed in tight enough, it should keep this very flat against the glass there and prevent that issue. All right, so one more screw here. Okay. And the last thing we need to do is this cable that we pulled out over here. We need to plug it in right here. Again, only one place, one way for it to go in. So if you feel like it's not giving, like right there, I probably got it in backwards. So move it around and push it in, and there we go. Okay, so the front part is done. Here's what it looks like on the outside. See, we have our stickers there. So you'll simply be able to touch each of these. Okay, and let's go on to the next step. All right, guys, so up next, we need to pull the board out and do some chip swapping here. So let me go ahead and do that. And this is where it can vary a little bit depending on the kind of board that you have, but I'm going to explain it for you guys. So in order to get the board pulled out, you do have to remove the bottom tray like that. And that will get the board pulled out. And let me get this over here on a chair so you can see what's going on. All right. All right, so we're looking at the board right here. And this is an enhanced board. Now, you may not have an enhanced board. And the way you know that is that if your base chip, or it could be called the SB chip, is if it's up here on this riser board like this, then you have an enhanced board. You can also look at the board model number to see if it says 1270. If it says 1270 on it, which it does right here, that also tells you it's an enhanced board. And that means that your game chip is up here and your version chip is right there. If you have a 500 series board, so a 501, 502, 503, or 504, your chips are going to be over here. But they will be labeled the same. So you'll see a version chip there and you'll see an SB or base chip. So what we need to first do is remove this version chip, because this is a GX0, and replace it with a GX1. And so what I'm going to do is put the chip puller down in there, pull, and just lift straight up. Just like that. That way it keeps the pins all aligned and straight and pretty. And I'm going to take the version 1 chip and put it in its place. Now here's the most important part. You need to make sure that you have chip alignment. And the way you look for that is that there will be a little notch. Sorry, I'm trying to get this to focus, guys. It's not wanting to do it. There we go. You see the little notch cut out of the plastic there? That needs to match the notch on the board. So the board itself will have a little notch also. Let me see if I can zoom in. So there's a little notch right here. So make sure that is always aligned. A good practice, if you're new at this, is before you remove any chips from the board, take a picture and you will be able to tell which direction everything is in so that you can replicate it. All right, so I'm gonna go in here like this and just slide this chip in. Be very careful before you put pressure down. Make sure that all the pins are inside of the socket. If any of them are outside of the socket and you apply pressure, it is gonna bend the pins, and you only get about a 1 or 2 shot to bend the pins back before they will snap off and you have to get another chip. So just be very slow. Check your work before you apply any pressure. I've done that. It all looks good, so I'm going to push all the way down. And now the version chip is installed. Okay? Fortunately, you can't just do that. You also have to clear the machine. So we need to remove the game chip, which is right here. So I'm going to do the same thing here with the chip puller. Pull straight up. And we are going to put the clear chip in, which is a IVC 224. You can find these all over eBay. They're very inexpensive. Anybody who owns an S2000 slot machine should really have one of these, because you never know if you're going to need it. All right, so we're going to put this chip in here. Same thing. Make sure you check your notch here. Make sure that is aligned. And this might take a little work. You just want to feel those pins and feel that it's in both sides before you apply any pressure, because it will definitely require a new chip. And so this one needs to be finagled a little bit more than that version chip does, which is okay. It's going to happen. Just be very slow. Usually what I do is try to get it on one side and then push in a little bit like this to get all the pins kind of nice and aligned, and then try to work it in on the other side. So this one's giving me some trouble, and I'm kind of glad it happened so you guys can see it. And so I do have a pin that's a little bit bent here, so I'm just putting it kind of back into place, and hopefully that'll allow us to put it back in here. All right, I feel it getting close here. Again, I am not applying any pressure down, because the moment you do that, if it is not in the socket, you will bend the pins. And I know I've said that several times already, but guys, I've bent a lot of these, and I've had to wait for new replacement chips to come in because I've been impatient and got irritated and pushed them all the way down, and that was it. All right, so I'm having trouble with this. So what I'm going to do is actually remove this riser board. They may be screwed down. This one's not, because I've removed it recently. But this will come straight up like this. Okay, so I will set this aside. Make sure the camera can, yeah, you guys can still see it. So this is giving me some problems. So it's going to be a little bit easier to work with outside of the case there, because I'll be able to see both sides and see what's going on, why a certain pin's not going in, for example. All right, so this side is perfectly fine, but this is the side, and I see the pin now that is giving me a problem. So I'm just trying to work them all into the socket there. This last one keeps bending. All right, we're getting close. And I actually do recommend, once you do order these clear chips, if you're able to make copies yourself, do it. Otherwise, I would order multiple sets of these. So that if you do have one that starts to give you problems like this, you can go and pull out a spare. And yeah, this one is just really giving me problems. So I'm going to try to straighten the pins. And this is a little trick I do. You can put them in, try to get them in, and then flatten them out. Or you can put them on a flat surface and kind of bend them. This last leg is just giving me issues. Again, whenever you're working with these older machines, patience is your number one virtue. I was not patient when I first started working on these things, and I damaged so much equipment. Oh, I think I might have gotten it there. No, not quite. All right, I'm gonna grab another one of these guys. This one's just giving me too many problems. All right, let's try this one. Yeah, this one was that easy. I do have a tool that will straighten pins out. I don't have it handy to show you guys, but you can get those on like arcade forums and things like that. All right, so we got the cleared. That was a long thing just to do one step, right? All right, so we got the clear chip in. So now let's go back to the machine and put it in the machine. All right, so we got that clear chip in. So we need to put the board in the machine. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is power the machine on and look for 2 amber lights to show up down here. And be patient, it could take a little bit. Now, if you see a red light flashing and you see a bunch of orange and green lights on here and a red light flashing, you put the chip in incorrectly. So power off immediately and take the board back out and inspect the chip that you put in there. You want to do that as quick as possible, because if you do catch it in time, you can save the chip and save the board from any kind of damage, because they will overheat if you put it in backwards, for example. So we got 1 amber light, we're waiting for the second one. All right, so now we can power the machine off, and we're gonna pull the board back out. And now we're gonna put the key chip in. All right guys, so now it's time to put the key chip in. So we will take the clear chip out using our chip puller. And same process as before, put the key chip in. And hopefully this one doesn't give us issues. Okay, it should be in there, but I'm gonna check. I'm checking off camera. Yeah, it looks fine. Nope, I have a bent pin. You probably can't see it, but right there I have a bent pin. So I need to pull this chip out. I put pressure down. I did what I was not supposed to do, and I put pressure down too soon, and one of the chips got bent. So I'm going to try to straighten it out here. Yeah, this one looks like it might be too late. Well, nope, I got it. All right, I got it back into place, but it may still give me problems. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to take the board off again. It's just easier to work with. They put this in a bad spot on these enhanced boards. It's really tough to get to. All right. I'm sure you guys can see it. All right, so let me start working with this one here. Okay, so I was able to get that side in, and the bent pin's no longer an issue. I think we're good now. Before I apply pressure, I'm going to look on both sides, and they are all in there, so I can push down. Okay. Now we'll put the riser board back on here. Okay. And now we will put this back into the machine. All right, so I just put it back into the machine there, just like before, and we're going to power it on and wait for 2 amber lights again. This will come up almost instantaneously. So as soon as it does, turn it off, and we're going to pull it back out again. Okay, take it back over here to the board, or to the chair, and I'm going to take this board off because it just seems to be working a lot easier to do this with the board off. And it's just because of the location of this. All right, get my chip puller. And we're going to take the key chip off right here, like that. And we're going to find our original, excuse me. We're going to find our original game chip, which I have a custom built one here, and put that back in. Out of all the ones that you don't want to screw up, this is the one. Clearing key chips are a dime a dozen. The actual game chips themselves can be very difficult to find depending on the title that you have. So for all the ones to be very careful with, it's the game chip, the one that you pulled out initially and the one you're putting back in now. Okay. So I'm going to put it back in the board, and this is the end of the chip swap procedure. All right, there we go. Okay, and then we're going to take this back over to the machine and put it back in. And we are ready for first boot. So go ahead and power on the machine, and in about 2 to 3 minutes you're going to hear a loud buzzing noise. You need to take your jackpot reset key and put it in the side of the machine where you go to turn off jackpots, for example. Right here. When it makes that loud buzzing noise, you're going to turn this back 4 times, okay? So we'll wait for that. If you have headphones on, headphones warning, it's going to get loud. Don't close the door all the way, just kind of let it rest there. It's going to say RAM error or call attendant here, and that's when you will turn the key 4 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to tell you press the test switch for 2 to 3 seconds. The test switch is the little white plastic button right here below the board. So hold it in and count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to tell you to close the main door. So that's what we're going to do now. And it's going to do its thing, and then it's going to tell you to call attendant. And what you're going to do is open the door. The alarm is going to go off again, and you're going to turn the jackpot key 3 times. Okay, so it says call attendant. So open the door, alarm will sound. 1, 2, 3 of the key. And then just let it sit for a minute, and it's going to initialize again, and then it will put all the reels in 0 position, and we will go through the key setup. Alright guys, so we're now in first position on the reels, and it's going to enable the key chip config. So the way this works is you're basically going to use these buttons to move through the menus. And you'll notice my cash out button looks really weird. It looks like a Borg eyeball or something. Anyway, I had to take this button out to put it into a customer's machine, and I've got another one on the way. But I needed to punch it through here so I can actuate it there. Anyway, so service button, cash out button, bet 1 credit button, spin reels button, and the max bet button. You're going to use all of these during this process. Now, for doing the multi-denom, there's a very specific order that you have to do this. And so I'm going to go slow so you don't accidentally miss the step. So the first thing is press spin reels, press it again, press it again, and press it again, and one more time. So we are on accounting, and we want to press the service switch once until the accounting says 0.01, and then press the bet max button. That saves it, and then press it again to go back one. Okay, then we're going to go over one to coin denomination, press spin reels, press service switch once. This will put it at 0.01. Press play max credits again, okay? Then we need to go over two, so press the cash out button twice and go to player denomination, press spin reels. So player denomination one is, on this one, is 25 cents, okay? Player denomination two, which is this one right here, is 50 cents. Whoops, I skipped it, so let me keep going. Like that. Okay, player denomination 3, because I have a duplicate here, I need to skip that one. So we're going to go to 4 and then go to 1. Okay, because $1 on that one. After I set all of those, press bet max. And then what you're going to do here is press play max again. And then you're going to go over one to game selection, press the spin button. So for the 25-cent game, we have it set at the highest. I'm going to go to the next one. We're going to set that one at the highest by pressing the cash out button. Service to go to the dollar and set that at the highest one. So the highest payback percentage on this machine is 94.74. So after I've done all of that, press play max credits. And then we need to go to service and go back one to denomination. And now we need to enable the touchpad. So what we're going to do is press spin reels on denomination, press this coin or cash out 4 times, or I'm sorry, not 4 times, 3 times, 4 times. I was right the first time. Sorry guys. So 4 times until it says denomination touch panel, and then press spin reels. Now because I am shared 1 and 3 here, what I need to do is cycle through this until it says player denom 1 is 1 and 3. So that's what I have here. Press the service. And here, go through button 2 is player denom 2, which we set to 50 cents. And then no button assigned to player denom 3, and then player denom 4 was $1. So we need to set that one to button 4. Okay, does that make sense? So then what we need to do is back out here and back out again until we get back to denomination. Then we need to go over until we get to machine type. Press spin reels again, and change this to upright. Okay. Plus press max here. Then we're going to press max again until we get back to this menu. Then we're going to press over one using the cash out button, and now we say key chip config 2. Press the spin reels button, and then we're going to go over to printer. Now only do this step if you have a printer installed. I do. So we're going to push enter here. We're going to push enter here. We're going to push this again, and then we're going to push this once so it changes to enabled. We're going to play max again until we're back at this menu. And we're going to go over 1, 2, 3 to coinless mode. Press enter here. Press this once, which is the cash out button. Press play max. Press play max, press play max, and press play max until you're all the way out, and then close the door. Okay, you might need to close the door twice there, as you can see. So now we have our button set up. So 25, 25, 50, and $1. Okay. All right, well, there you guys go. Conversion from single denomination to multi-denomination. It's not too difficult, but there are a lot of steps, especially with these older machines like on the S2000. On these newer machines like this G23 over here, this S3000, it takes 2 minutes to do it. So it's a little bit longer and more involved on these, but it's still a fun project. The most important step out of all of this is during the key chip config. You need to make sure that you set the accounting denomination, the coin denomination, the player denomination, the game percentage, and then set the button panel up. If you do it out of order, you have to start all the way over again. And what I mean by that is that you have to go through and clear it and key it and start from scratch, because if you miss the step and you save it, you can't redo it. I've had to do it many times before, so hopefully I've saved you guys from having to go through that. So other than that, it's a pretty straightforward process, and it's actually pretty easy to go back. Let's say you wanted to go back to single denomination. Well, all you really need to do is take out the GX1 chip that we put in, the version chip, and put in the GX0. And then during the key chip process, it's much easier because there's just one setting for coin denomination, accounting, everything. It's all just one value, so it's a lot easier to set up. Guys, I hope you loved the video. This is mostly for the tech nerds out there that own their own slot machines, or maybe you're just curious how the slot machines work and how to do some of this stuff. We thought it'd be cool to put some of this stuff out here. I think you guys might enjoy it. Anyway, I hope you did. If you did, give us a thumbs up, and subscription's always nice. We do a lot on this channel. Tech Series is the newest series for the channel, but we do a lot of stuff from how to, budget management, how to find the best machines to play in a casino. We have 3 live shows a week. We do all kinds of fun stuff. So we hope to see you again on the next video, and take care, guys.
Thanks so much for watching. Check out these other videos and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more slot tips. It's always free. Visit ropethejackpot.com for free guides and a whole lot more. Catch you on the next episode.